Hello everyone, welcome to Sagittarius Rising in depth, plus Jupiter, the ruler in all houses. The rising sign, of course, is so much more than just your personality. It represents all aspects of your life because at that moment you took birth, all the other departments of your life were mapped out from that point. So on this video, I give you information about your relationships, your home life, work life, friendships, health, everything. Plus, if you know where Jupiter the ruler is placed, please check that out too, because Jupiter's house contains important karmic destiny information. If you are new to my channel, sub below and let's begin. So mutable fire expresses the energy of Sagittarius. Mutable means movement and fire means desire. When fire is always moving, it's always consuming more fuel, isn't it? It's getting stronger and stronger. It's never satisfied. What is the desire which is never satisfied? The insatiable desire of lust. So this expresses the mutability and the fire quality of Sagittarius perfectly. You might think this word is more about Scorpio, but you see, Scorpio is a sign of sexuality and conflict. They are putting a damper on that sex instinct. It's a sign of death, the eighth sign. Check my video on my channel there. But Sagittarius, the next sign, is about freedom of movement, absolute unrestrained desire. Therefore, they are always in tune with their sensual nature. They're not in any way restrained about it. It's a very sexy sign, Sagittarius. You might not think of it that way. When I discuss relationships, I'll bring that up again. But the sign, or the symbol rather, of the center is very important here. What is the meaning of the beautiful figure of the center, half horse and half man? This is a dual sign, so we might expect some conflict, but that's not normally the case. Sagittarians integrate, as the figure itself, both aspects of their personality and their purpose. First of all, the horse. The horse represents the absolute need for freedom. If one word could express Sagittarian energy, it's the need for freedom. You cannot restrain a Sagittarian physically, emotionally, mentally, or indeed spiritually. They have to have that freedom. Just like a horse roaming over the plains in nature, they must be free. And if you attempt to constrain them in any way, just like a horse, they will bolt. They will be gone, and you won't even notice they've gone. Indeed, a Sagittarian is very rooted in their physical self. They're often very sporty, stretching themselves to new challenges. They are absolutely adventurous at heart. Nothing is out of their realm of possibility. They're the people who like to explore the world in all exotic locations, such as Andes Mountains or Antarctica. Anywhere which is a challenge, anything which is pushing to the limits, a Sagittarian wants to go there. Sagittarians are also explorers in the world of thought. This is the actual sign of higher education, the sign of the academic. But even if they didn't go as far as to university in their career, a Sagittarian, no matter what their education, is searching for philosophy in life, for a deep meaning. Very often they will gain this in religion, because organized religion is represented by the ninth house. But even if they don't hold a conventional religious system of belief, they must have some system of belief. So it could be political, it could be ethical, like human rights, animal rights, etc. But a Sagittarian must be fighting for some aspect of freedom or some aspect of morality. It's the absolute core of who they are. And because of this, everyone, it's very difficult to have an actual mundane conversation with a Sagittarian. At some point, they will bring in some bigger picture, some ethical concern. You could be saying, oh, do you like my new hall flooring? They might say, where does the wood come from? How many trees have been destroyed for this? Is it sustainable wood? And so on. That can happen very often. It won't be long when you meet a Sagittarian until you are made aware very abruptly of their deep belief system. Another aspect of the sign is, of course, that this is a sign of the battlefield. This is often misunderstood or even not grasped. This is a warrior going to war as well. So this is a sign of warfare. And what is war fought over? Of course, religious principles, morality, political systems. Jupiter, ruler of this sign, has two faces. On one hand, he represents in Pisces the pure spiritual experience, the hermit looking for self-realization. But Sagittarius is no hermit. This is the crusader, the warrior after righteous action and truth. In fact, as I was making the video, I stopped it just a few minutes ago just to check on Greta Thunberg's chart. I'd never seen it before, and I was not surprised to see that she has the sun and the moon both in Sagittarius, at least if she is born before 2 o'clock. So, sun for sure, moon maybe. Finally, a Sagittarian will mostly always have a superb sense of humor. They are great comedians. And in fact, as teachers and preachers, this is probably their saving grace. And indeed, they enjoy practical joking, horsing around, as they say. So they can be great people to have around when you're feeling down and depressed, because they will always bring you out of that in no time at all. So let's now move on and discuss all the aspects of a Sagittarian existence. Now, the aspects of early family and wealth for Sagittarius, ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. Early family, first of all, it's going to be quite a conventional early family upbringing. They are going to have a lot of discipline around them. There may be sometimes, if they've got a badly aspected Saturn, some loss and some almost sober atmosphere in that early upbringing. But one thing for sure, they will be very dutiful to their family, extremely dutiful. They will never let family members go unheeded if they are in need. Now, wealth-wise, this again is a good thing and a bit of a restrictive thing. It's not a great concern for Sagittarians building up material wealth. They are more concerned about their aspects of morality and crusading, as I've just been talking about, for their belief system. But they're very good at dealing with wealth, actually, when they put their mind to it, because Capricorn gives them a very practical touch here. They are more than capable of gaining enormous wealth, very often in their career as well, because Capricorn represents career in the mundane zodiac. But because it also represents delays and obstacles, wealth may fluctuate in their lifetime according to Saturn's aspect. Now, third house is Aquarius, siblings and travel. Things lighten up a little bit here because this is Saturn's Multicone sign, but still, short distance travel, daily travel to and fro is a little bit restricting for a Sagittarian. They're much happier on the plane going to some distant land than they are on the bus going to a mundane work situation. Absolutely. They can become very frustrated in short distance travel. But here's the thing. Aquarius represents an absolute sense of separation at some point. Aquarius is one of those karmic signs like Scorpio, so there can be separation from siblings, loss of siblings sometimes, okay? And once again, they are very dutiful towards their siblings, but very often they are not on the same wavelength at all as many of their siblings. That's the normal factor seen here. Now, the house of home is ruled by Pisces and Jupiter. This is very fortunate. They often have very happy home lives, but they're often on the move because it's a mutable sign also. So a Sagittarian is really not interested in the perfect home situation. They just need a quiet and relaxed atmosphere where they can just be on their own, maybe if they need it, to refresh themselves, meditate maybe, or pour over their books and their philosophies and just chill out until the next day when they go out on their crusades. In fact, to be honest, most Sagittarians don't spend that much time in their home. They like to be out, as I say, fighting for some cause or in a very busy, sporty and outdoor focused life. So they're not indoor people at all. But when they are indoors, they need it to be quiet and calm. So this is why they're probably moving a lot to find that perfect quiet space. A Sagittarian, though, is very welcoming to other people in their home. But as I say, don't expect it to be tidy, even. Sometimes, they can have a lot of pets. They love animals so much. So expect it to be a pretty easygoing home atmosphere for sure. Fifth house ruled by Aries and Mars, children education. Now, this is a very successful area normally for Sagittarians. As I say, starting with education, they are great students. They love to learn. They are academic at heart. So they thoroughly enjoy education in all aspects. Unless Mars is really badly placed and ill aspected, it goes well for them. They can go all the way up to the highest education possible. It's one of the most successful areas in their life. Now, children is also normally quite successful. They often, because Mars is a male sign, can have male children, but there's so many other factors like D5 chart, D7 chart, and Mars itself that you have to consider. One thing for sure, though, is that they give a great deal of enthusiasm and energy to their children. They are very adventurous, as I've been talking about, and they love to have fun with their kids, go on adventure holidays and all sorts of exciting aspects with their kids. So they are often superb parents. The only problem is they can be a little bit impatient, and because they are very much engaged in their own cause or their own crusade, as I say, if their children are not on board with it, it can sometimes create conflicts. That's the only downside. Sixth house, ruled by Taurus and Venus, is a bit of a difficult area for Sagittarius, right? They're always on the move, very sporty, very physical orientated people, and yet they've got a sweet tooth because Venus rules sweet. So they can actually have overweight problems sometimes as well. Some of them, not all. Again, look at Jupiter's condition and Venus condition. You see, Venus is not a good friend of the ruler Jupiter. Venus is the Asura teacher, the teacher of those who are into material enjoyment. And ultimately, a Sagittarius is sattvic. They are actually after purity and knowledge and the higher purpose. So when they get involved in conflicts, it really affects their health deeply. You might think, well, hold on. Aren't they the warrior sign going to battle? Yes, they are, but they're like a swift resolution to their righteous cause. And if it goes on, and don't forget, Taurus is a fixed sign, when they have petty conflicts in their workplace or with marriages sometimes going on, it really drains the energy out of them and it's really depressing for them. They don't deal well with it. That's because they see the big picture and mundane, everyday, disagreements, they just find that really heavy going. And in fact, these sort of petty conflicts often impact on their health tremendously because areas concerned here are, first of all, throat areas. Because it's ruled by Venus from Taurus, a Sagittarian often has a very sensitive throat. They can have throat issues and actually I've seen very often lose their voice a lot. Other areas of concern are, of course, those typical Sagittarian areas like thighs and hips. And again, because of their sporty nature, they are obviously very vulnerable as well. Virgo is a highly critical sign and a highly intelligent sign. So right away, career is going to have to be something that uses intelligence. A Sagittarian is not happy in a boring routine job. A Sagittarian cannot just go to work and put a few pegs in a hole and come home and feel like that was a good day of work and that was well worthwhile. A Sagittarian must have stimulation, but most of all must feel that they are using their intelligence, that they are making decisions themselves. So for this reason, they have to have education of some sort to be in any way happy in their occupation. And it's a very changeable influence, this, because it's Mercury led. So definitely a Sagittarian career will be communication based, will be educationally or skill based, where they are giving skill, they are giving education, they are giving instruction of some sort to other people. They are instructors at heart. Whatever their level of education, they need to instruct. And they are very organized, very critical, very punctual, very on the job with their career. However, they may be in all the other aspects of their life, they are very together in their working life, extremely capable. But they do become bored. As I say, they need stimulation, and they will just move on from job to job if they do not find that real skill that gives them true satisfaction. So you need to see where Mercury is placed, sign of Mercury, and in the D10 also, to get a definite sign of this. Another interesting fact that can often be seen for a Sagittarius career is that because Mercury is their seventh house lord as well, they often work with their spouse sometimes, or they are in the same career sphere as their spouse, or they find their spouse in their career sphere. There is a mixing of spouse and career very, very often. So the seventh house is ruled by Gemini and Mercury. So what's happening in the relationship sector for a Sagittarian? First of all, Gemini means twin soul, actually. It means soulmate. And funnily enough, Sagittarians often have very good, long lasting companionships, but they have to be intellectually based, mentally based, with a real compatibility of interests. In fact, more than that, any partner of a Sagittarian needs to be on their team. They need to be on Team Sag. They need to be going on that crusade, on that battlefield alongside the Sagittarian. That's what they're ultimately looking for. And that's not a selfish thing. It's that they really need someone who has the same interests and goals that they have, because they're going to be away from home quite a bit. They're going to be going off doing whatever it is they have to do for their campaign trail, because that's what a Sagittarian's life is all about. It's their cause. So basically, they need someone who can either be with them or supporting them from behind the scenes. So they don't want any emotional pressure. What drives a Sagittarian out of the door is emotional pressure. What does this mean? This means any stifling partner, anyone who doesn't trust them, anyone who is, I could say, spying on them, but that's a bit extreme. But anyone who is asking them, where have you been? What are you doing? Who won't let them be. They need to be set free, as I've discussed at the beginning of the video, to do what they need to do. So they need a very compatible partner. That's the key. And fortunately, if you've got a very strong Mercury and nothing in the seventh house, ideally no planets there, you can get a very good relationship very early on if supported by the D9 chart. So Sagittarians are often lucky in their partnerships, and they can get a very stimulating and interesting partner who supports them 100%. But if Mercury is afflicted, it's going to be a little more tricky. An afflicted Mercury gives mental tension and stress in their relationships. So you have to look at planets involved, seventh house, rulership house, everything to get exact details there. But any afflictions and settling down becomes troublesome, because Sagittarius is so involved in their crusade, as I say, in their cause in life, that they really haven't got patience for relationship issues. They're not going to spend time working on their relationship. They don't think that relationships need to be worked on. So what they tend to do is just leave. A Sagittarian will just leave if they feel it's not worthwhile staying. So they really have to be patient and focused on that soulmate, because that's what Gemini actually is. It's about a twin soul, an absolute compatibility at the heart. And that's what Sagittarians need. A quick note, everyone, why the Ascendant ruler is so important. Ascendant Lord represents a planet that is guiding you in this incarnation, a sort of guardian angel, if you like. And in Mahadasha, particularly, check link below, planets that are harmonious with that Lord give you a much easier time. That is generally seen. But by house placement, it's a very important judgment. That house where your Ascendant Lord is placed has a particular karmic destiny. It's an area where you have debt, where you didn't finish off certain business, and in this life, you will be drawn to it to complete that without any doubt. So Jupiter, as your ruling planet, is in its own sign in Sagittarius in your first house. Jupiter is at home in the first house, very happy to be rising at the time of your birth. It's one of the strongest placements for Jupiter. Gains great strength in this house. In addition, in his own sign, it's tremendously powerful. It's a powerful indication, first of all, of good fortune in a very basic level, because Jupiter is your fourth house lord. So you can gain properties, you can gain good living conditions as long as Jupiter is not afflicted. If there is affliction, it's going to alter that somewhat. But the main thing is that Jupiter gives you a powerful optimism in life. Jupiter gives you powerful philosophical and maybe religious, but just philosophical understanding in a deep way. You will definitely find a system of belief that gives great meaning to your life. And you are a preacher at heart. You are a teacher at heart. Okay, so your whole purpose will be to put that philosophy, to put that system of belief out into the world. And you have a tremendous charisma. Jupiter rising gives a charismatic personality in every way. The only downside, if I had to bring in a downside, is that Jupiter's aspect on your seventh house makes you a little restless in your relationships, more than average for a Sagittarian. But again, you have to look at Mercury's placement as your seventh house lord and many other factors. But on the whole, it gives you tremendous fortune, forward movement, optimism, and really deep spiritual and intellectual understanding and progress. It's a very fortunate position indeed. So Jupiter, ruler of your ascendant, has gone into your second house in Capricorn. Now, this is quite interesting because Jupiter in the second house on its own, just in any sign whatsoever, has a lot of favorable impact on your ability to accumulate wealth at a very basic level. On the other hand, Jupiter can disperse your wealth because Jupiter is not interested primarily in material gain. So what you're going to find here, because Jupiter is debilitated in this sign of Capricorn, is that you can be an absolute money magnet with this, because Capricorn actually brings practicality into money management. So you can be someone who accumulates absolute wealth from your family. There can be family financial fortune here that is of great benefit for you. On the other hand, there can be a squandering, a lack of ability to control financial matters, particularly if Jupiter is ill aspected. But what Jupiter will indicate karmically, without doubt, aside from financial matters, is that Jupiter will definitely give a karmic burden with your early family environment. You will get from them tremendous spiritual and intellectual purpose, but it's in some way a drain on your ultimate freedom, because Jupiter is a bit trapped in this second house. Jupiter's expansive energy cannot move in this fixed type of house, second house, eighth house. and sixth house. They are not particularly favorable placements in themselves for the guru to be. So something about your early family has trapped you and you are seeking to escape. However, if you have a well-placed Saturn, and only if you have that, you can gain tremendous support and purpose from your family and your early family environment here. So you're a very dutiful, very caring person, very down to earth, caring for parents, caring for early childhood family. But in some way, you have to admit there is a restricting element here. And what it really comes down to is that your karmic burden in this lifetime is to put your expansion at hold and do your duty by your family members. It's your absolute number one priority. So Jupiter, as the ruler of your ascendant in Sagittarius, has gone into your third house. This is extremely favorable in some aspects because Aquarius grounds this Jupiter into a practical skill base. Problem is Jupiter's a little bit conflicted in this house because Jupiter wants to go to higher knowledge and higher factors of philosophy, and Jupiter is a bit constrained by the mundane world here. So you have to see where Saturn has gone to see how constraining that will be. But here's the point. Jupiter gives you great communication skills, great factor of skill base in any area. You can be skilled in musical skills, computer skills, writing skills, anything where you are communicating with others in a creative way, highly skilled indeed. Technically based, definitely. And you are a good advisor, a counselor. You like to give advice and you like to be able to help people in a very down-to-earth practical way. You may work for government agencies as well, and you are very much liked in this sphere because you get on with all sorts of people. You're a very friendly, outwardly orientated person for sure. What you have though is a karmic debt with your siblings. Now, that depends where Saturn is. If Saturn is ill aspected, poorly placed, there could even be no siblings, which you will feel as a real sense of lack. But there can be a special karmic debt with one sibling. There can be loss of sibling, separation from sibling at some point, or there can just be a real being on a completely different wavelength. Now, all Sagittarians have this because of Aquarius in their third house, but for you, it's a particular karmic factor, and you will have to overcome this misunderstanding. You will have to work at it really hard because it's part of a definite karmic debt. Jupiter, Lord, your ascendant has gone into the fourth house, into Pisces. This is a very exceptional and actually glorious position because Jupiter is exalted in the sign of pure spiritual wisdom. It's the most mystical and divine placement for Jupiter to be. And in the fourth house, this is coming from your home. This is coming from your culture. This is coming from your possibly religion of your youth, but not always, because Jupiter is wisdom itself. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. So you are searching from a very early age, from your early childhood here, for that wisdom, and you will quickly find it. You are inspired by religious knowledge, inspired by your own culture, inspired from your mother's family maybe, inspired by everything which absolutely has a divine essence to it. So this is a very special Jupiter here. The point about Jupiter here is that you are going to ultimately go beyond your home because Jupiter aspects 10th house. You will teach this knowledge. You cannot keep it to yourself. You will have to take it out into the world. You may join any religious organizations. You may join any spiritual organization, or indeed any sort of ethical group which is moving towards wisdom and helping other people. You are very kind, very thoughtful, very interested in how you can forward mankind's well-being. So it's a very special placement. But this is all to do with last incarnation, where you didn't take this wisdom to its final conclusion. You may have had the wisdom inside, but you didn't teach it. You didn't apply it to your life. So this lifetime, it's about applying this deep wisdom to every facet of your life, because fourth house influences every other house in a very deep, intimate way. It's the foundation of your chart. It's the absolute foundation of who you are. So it doesn't matter what religion you are, you gain knowledge from all religions. You do not discriminate. But your culture of upbringing is definitely a core factor in this wisdom. And of course, Jupiter takes you out from the home here. Jupiter takes you beyond the home into the world itself, where the whole world becomes your home. But on a very mundane sense, it's a very good aspect for your home life. It gives you a happy home. It gives you a happy upbringing as well. Jupiter, your ruling planet, has gone into the fifth house, into Aries. This is a very exciting placement actually for Jupiter. It gives you great good fortune in your life. If Jupiter is unafflicted and well aspected, that's the main point. And you have to see where Mars has gone, because if Mars is ill aspected, it can make you a risk taker, and this can be dangerous for you because you're very impulsive with this Jupiter. You do things on the spur of the moment without even thinking. Sometimes you have to be careful, but mostly though you can contain that, because Jupiter in a trine house gives enormous wisdom. From your past life you have deep spiritual wisdom, and it is your good karma coming with you. So you are a fantastic teacher because you love young people. You simply get so much joy being with children or younger people. You just get enthusiasm and happiness, and you give it back to them also. You have a great sense of humor, a great sense of fun, and you are normally a very good parent. But Jupiter doesn't always give a large family, funnily enough, in this house. That's not always the case. But again, you have to see D5 chart, D7 chart, and Mars, of course, to make a final consideration there. Jupiter, though, is definitely going to take you into foreign lands because of the fifth aspect on your ninth house at some point. But higher education, most definitely. Jupiter can take you all the way to the highest educational attainments because you are highly intelligent. But the bottom line is here that you are a philosopher, a deep thinker, and most of all, you get actual help from mantra, because this is the actual house of mantra meditation. So you will at some point find a special mantra, a special divine sound, which is going to take you to the highest sphere most definitely. And what is your karmic destiny? Your karmic destiny is definitely to teach. To teach, because this is a sign of education. This is the house of education. This is the sign of the warrior. So you have a definite ethical purpose, as I've been talking about in this video from the very beginning. And your life is to teach those deep, profound principles without doubt. Jupiter, ruler of your first house in Sagittarius, has gone into the sixth house in Taurus. This is going to ground you tremendously. You're a very grounded, focused individual for a Sagittarian. You don't take the big picture so much as the immediate picture. You live in the present more. You're very service orientated because your past life karmas are coming back to you as service orientation. You may work in medical fields, you may work in nursing or caring, or in some way helping non-human beings, or in environmental crusade, because this is Taurus, which is about Earth itself. But whatever it is, you want it to matter here and now. You're not interested in future factors. You want to make an impact every day, practically, That's a key thing. So Jupiter can increase wealth here as well, specifically from service industries also. Now, Jupiter here is going to make you a little bit indulgent though. Jupiter can give you a very sweet tooth. In any case, all Sagittarians have that, but Jupiter here is going to make that a big factor. You have to watch your diet, you have to watch your weight with this sixth house Jupiter here. And you really have to be very cautious when you get into conflicts, because Jupiter can multiply conflict in your life. Now, I've already discussed during this video that a Sagittarian person dislikes conflicts, and you are no different. Just because Jupiter's here doesn't make it any less something which you struggle with. So conflicts with other people, particularly home life, because Jupiter is your fourth Lord, can be difficult. Watch out for conflicts with maternal relatives, maternal uncles, aunts, particularly be cautious there. But if you've got good aspects to Jupiter, they can actually be materially fortunate for you, wealth wise, and very good for you. So you absolutely have to see where Venus has gone and what is aspecting Jupiter here. As I say, finally, you need to avoid overindulgence in food and drink, because you certainly enjoy the good things of life. So, Jupiter ruler of your first house has gone into Gemini in your seventh house. This is going to impact a few areas. First of all, relationships are definitely going to be impacted here. Your focus is very other people. You are very much into pleasing other people, doing things for other people, and you love to absolutely work in a very fast-paced environment with others. You could go into business with a partner, definitely, and that could be very good for you, because you work well when you are beside another person on a team. That's what you like more than anything, is to be on a team. But your relationship factors, though, can become a bit disturbed here, because Jupiter is a restless factor in the spousal area. But on the good side of it, you can get a very interesting foreign mate, somebody from foreign lands, and with whom you build a very interesting home life, as it's your fourth house lord as well. So it's a very busy factor here. You're not stable in a relationship. And this can mean that there's some factor of moving around a lot with a mate, going into foreign lands with a mate. Not just that they are coming from foreign lands, but that you go with them into foreign lands as well. You could marry someone who's a very intellectual person, very intelligent, very busy person, and that keeps you on your toes as well. But sometimes, though, if it's a well aspected Jupiter, you can, as I've been talking about, find that absolute soulmate also. So you just have to check what the position of Mercury is. So if Mercury is very strong, this is not that difficult a placement at all. You can find soulmate, but it will still be a restless, moving, excitable, not stabilized relationship, because you'll be going places together. You'll be moving and doing a tremendous amount of traveling together, and home life will be a stimulating intellectual environment for sure. The ruler of your first house has gone into the eighth house in Cancer. This has got two aspects to it. First of all, Jupiter is so well placed here. Jupiter is exalted here, but it's going to bring change and fast circumstances into your life, where you have to shift your life into a new perspective, particularly home life, because Jupiter is your fourth lord in this house. So you will have fast and quick changes in your living situation that just come out of the blue. There can be difficulty with mother too, and some stress with early environment. But ultimately, though, Jupiter is exalted here. So even mother issues work out fine, because you have a deep inner maternal aspect to yourself, whether you are male or female. What I mean is, You are a caring, nurturing person. You have so much empathy for everybody. You have so much to give. Particularly, you have deep insight into occult knowledge also. So, Jupiter here is going to give you profound wisdom, profound understanding as his ruler from Sagittarius here. He's going to give you the most tremendous business sense. I mean, you can be a mega business person here. You can get superb um, wealth here actually, because Jupiter in this house increases all the time through finances which are family based and business based. Spousal wealth is absolutely increased here also. Problem is that you may have to tone down your emotions here, okay? Because Jupiter makes you very prone to emotional blackmail almost, because you are so soft hearted, okay? So to make the best of this, you have to be a little bit more strategic. But the good news is that you will gain spiritual wisdom which will give you a deep source of support during all the difficulties of your life. And don't forget that Jupiter's fifth aspect on the 12th house will definitely take you into foreign lands, and you will gain great profit from these experiences. You may even live there, but either way, you will absolutely get financial benefit from foreign land. So Jupiter is in Leo as the ruler of your ascendant Sagittarius in your ninth house. Jupiter, first of all, is very well placed here by house. It's going to give you very good fortune in life through children in particularly, and it's going to give you a deep spiritual wisdom. But the problem is authority figures become difficult for you a little bit. Why? Because you are an authority figure yourself and you do not like to take authority. Problem with father can sometimes be seen, especially when the sun is opposing Jupiter or when the sun is ill placed, because sun is your past karma from your ninth house. Ninth house lord is your deepest karmic debt, by the way. So you've come here to pay off some deep karmic debt by showing respect for authority. So teachers must be respected, gurus must be respected, father must be respected with this ninth house Jupiter. If you can find that, you're going to make great progress. You're going to have luck on your side many times. It seems like that, but it comes from a deep spiritual practice in your past life. It's very good for finding a deep mantra which takes you out of the prison of this world because of Jupiter's aspect on your fifth house. It's excellent for your education. Foreign universities, foreign colleges, excellently aspected here. You may end up living in foreign land without doubt with this Jupiter, and you absolutely grow there. You absolutely expand beyond a limited capability into a very vast one. You gain respect from other people also. People listen to you. You have great charisma and wisdom. So it's a very favorable position indeed. Jupiter, Lord of your ascendant, has gone into the 10th house into Virgo. Jupiter in Virgo is a Mercury led influence, and of course, Mercury and Jupiter are not in harmony, but there is a good aspect here because you are highly intelligent, highly critical, highly analytical, and you must have a job which is of a high intelligence factor. What I mean by that is you need to be using your intelligence in your job. Mundane job, mundane 9 to 5 job, which is very routine and does not accept that you can make your own decisions, will not satisfy you. So education becomes very important to you so that you can access these higher types of professions. So you need that. It doesn't matter what it is, you need to be using intelligence every day in your job. You don't want to be just sitting there and putting a, a peg in a hole, you know, in a very boring way, because that's not going to satisfy you. You have to be using intelligence, and with that, you can absolutely go far. You are very creative in that. You can be in any sort of research field, any sort of education field, most definitely. You can be in any field where you have to make wise decisions, that is for sure. Jupiter gives you a very analytical, critical nature here. But because it's a mutable sign and you have a mutable sign rising, sometimes you have to go through many careers until you find the right one for yourself. Okay, you really have to wait a little bit of time swapping and changing, because Mercury is a very changeable factor. It makes you restless in your career. It's hard to settle down here. But ultimately, as with every Jupiter, there is an element of teaching, there is an element of giving skills, because you are a very skilled person. What you will be actually skilled in, have a check of where Mercury is by sign and aspect, and in the D10 chart, Mercury gives you ultimate clue there. But you can be very successful because Jupiter makes you rise in life and gives you absolute influence in this sphere. As your ruler has gone into Libra in the 11th house, Jupiter here is favorable for material gain, definitely. Assets from your career, a real sense of purpose in life, but it's a mundane purpose. So there is a conflict between your Sagittarian need for a deep religious experience, because Libra is not a sign of religiosity at all. Libra is a very mundane sign. It's ruled by Venus. So you are capable of gaining great assets from your job. You are capable of going to the top in any career field. You may be very drawn to aspects of law and all of these factors where you are helping other people gain justice, because that's what Libra is all about. You are very fond of your network circles, terribly sociable. I mean, you're going to have so many friends, so many circles in which you like to move in. You don't like that much time alone. Jupiter here takes you out of yourself and into society in a big way. You can be a leader in your network groups. You can be someone who inspires others to higher goals. But ultimately, Venus and Jupiter are not friends, so there is a conflict deep down, if you really think about it, between your need for a real spirituality and focus and your need for society, a really active social life. There is a little bit of a conflict going on there. But if you have a well aspected Jupiter, it is your karmic destiny for sure to finish leadership skills in society. You are here to lead others, to inspire others, to give them a sense of justice, to serve others in society is your most definite goal here. Jupiter, ruler of your ascendant from Sagittarius, has gone into Scorpio in the 12th house. This is a very deep and mystical position. You have knowledge of mysticism, spirituality, religious instruction, everything which you gained in past life coming back to you very early on in this incarnation. You feel the need from a very early age to actually go into this study again. So you are obsessed, because Scorpio is a sign of obsession with finding realization in this lifetime. You really need that occult mystical knowledge, including, of course, astrology. But it's about understanding who you are, what's the meaning of life, and going into a deep sense of wisdom within. So it's a very spiritual placement, because Jupiter is the actual karaka for this house in terms of Moshka liberation. So Jupiter wants to take you to that higher plane, wants to give you deep understanding and wisdom here. But that's because you've already been on that path past life, because it is your ascendant Lord. So there's an urgent need for this knowledge. At the same time, Scorpio gives business sense. Scorpio gives a real sense of independence, a real enterprising and calculating nature. You are very good at business, very good normally at gaining assets. But here's the problem. This is a house of loss. Jupiter here can give excessive expenditure if there is affliction, definitely. So if Mars is afflicted, if this Jupiter is afflicted, it's hard to gain control of your finances at all. And there are big fluctuations because Scorpio always gives money and then takes it away, money and then takes it away. So it's always fluctuating. But really, it's not your goal in life. Your goal is not about acquiring assets. Although you have to check all of your chart, because there you will see about all of those factors. But your goal in life is acquiring spiritual wisdom. And in this, you will absolutely gain success. And you may be able to gain money or gain wealth through this knowledge as you teach it, because Sagittarius is always a teacher, as I say. Finally, you will definitely go into foreign land, because fourth house lord is 9 houses away, taking you there as a matter of your karmic destiny for wisdom or for actual material gain. Foreign lands are a definite necessity for you in this incarnation. So everyone, I hope that gave you useful information about Sagittarius rising and Jupiter's placement in the houses. If you are new to my channel, sub below, and coming up soon will be Capricorn rising and more videos on Vedic and indeed all astrology. Goodbye for now, and God bless you all.